everyone, welcome back to Tokachi International Speedway here in Sarabetsumura, here in this part of Japan, here in Hokkaido. Welcome everyone to the Tsuyo series, Tokachi 400, round 1 of the 2026 HoloProto Japan Zako series. I'm sorry. I got the wrong, how do we call it? I got the wrong series. Can you give me a moment? Alright, Alright, so anyways, welcome everyone to the Tsuyo series, Tokachi 400, round 1 of 4 of the 2026 HoloProto Japan Tsuyo series, where we will be deciding the HoloProto Japan champion at the end of this, after 5 races of qualifiers that decide the Tsuyo series field. Where we basically field the strongest of the ARO/HoloLive teams, and obviously they've worked hard to get to this position. So let's take a look into the track map just to get a bit of a preview as to what the track would look like. It's a 5.1 kilometer racetrack, 40 laps for a total of 200 kilometers, just about in terms of race distance. 15 corners for every lap that you do here in the circuit, so there's a lot of medium speed corners, so you gotta favor both mechanical grip and downforce. And as far as overtaking opportunities are concerned, there's only like 2 places where you could feasibly make overtakes, so you basically have to think about your strategy as well, and that doesn't even take into account how difficult it is to overtake here. So you also wanted to focus on your pit strategies. Oh, I cannot believe I said that twice. But anyways, I'll explain the strategies later. But we are going to be seeing lap records of, we might not be seeing the track record be broken. Maybe, but we'll have to wait and see. Okay, we're going to show you the Zako series standings briefly, because that's something that we posted yesterday. But our main event for today will be the Tsuyo series. Of course, it's the championship series where we will be deciding the the HoloProto Japan outright champion after this. So we do notice some very big names. Maverick CM and Lorenzo Ricci, of course, have topped each of their splits. Each of their JP qualifier split. Maverick CM top split A, Lorenzo Ricci top split B. And you do have some additional information here. Koji Sonoria may be runners-up in JP Split A, but in World Split A, he actually is the top dog, or top demon, Oni. Currently in like second in JP Split A. And then looking into some of the other potential names here, yeah. So these are your 3 favorites coming into this Tsuyo series season. They might just be the one that will be winning this all. Lexi Bowen, Momosha Kivreza, Daniel Barger also winning a shout to get themselves in. Although we do have some interesting dark horses. We're not expecting them to perform, but I am looking at Masaraido for Todoroki Hajime. Hajime has also been having a bit of an uprise, having a bit of a rise in terms of popularity, so you gotta want to focus on that. Where he has been occupied, or rather surrounded with, by a lot of veteran names. For example, Isakaji Mikulev for Sakura Miku, who have represented Sakura Miku since 2023. Cashew for Watami since 2022, I believe. Or rather, 26 start 2023, yeah. And then we got Reba, who's been racing in the ARO since 2022. Cal Gibbons, who's been there since the start of the ARO. So lots of big names here to report, as we're going to get ourselves ready for qualifying. So with that out of the way, we'd like to welcome everyone to today's stream. My name is Mohammed Shadid Reza, and first of all, a warm welcome to everyone who is tuning in to. Well, who's tuning in, for everyone tuning in for the first time, welcome. We're just gonna be introducing everyone of how the format works. So we're gonna first have a 7-minute qualifying, and after that we will be going for a 40-lap race where the points will be distributed to the top 15 finishers in this race. And obviously what you're seeing here in Tokachi in this race, HoloProto Japan Zero Series, will be pretty much similar to what you will be seeing in the ARO's future racing series, Uma Musume Twinkle Championships, where we will be looking to replicate Uma Musume G1 races through racing cars in Assetto Corsa. And obviously we do have big names who are about to join. We do have big names who are set to join in the competition. So yeah, so basically how it works here is that a bit of a difference here from what we usually host from ARO for online competitions, that the race distances will be very much different. We will be racing in even bigger variety of tracks, while in Japan there's race courses like Nakayama, Tokyo, Hanshin, and Kyoto. Expect races to be held at Fuji Speedway, Suzuka International Circuit, Twin Rim Motegi, Autopolis, Sportsline Sugo, Okayama, Tsukuba, if you will. And for those of you who are asking on how we will have to deal with wet races, I mean dirt races, since in the Assetto Corsa there's not a lot of people who have modded there's not a lot of tracks that have Japanese dirt mods or rallycross mods. What we're gonna do here is that if the surface is wet, then it will be a dirt race equivalent due to the one similarity that both of these have. It's basically running on a looser and slipperier surface compared to turf, which is more firm and solid. And of course, the driver representation system will be similar. We have entrants representing a certain person. Like, for example, we do have... Okay, we're gonna let you in a bit of secret here, because we have this driver, Misaki Sakura, who is also registered for UMA TC. And a bit of a spoiler, she will be set to represent Silent Suzuka. Hanami Kiriko will be expected to represent Biwa Hayagiri. Lexi Bowen is set to represent Tokai Teo. But let's not waste too much of our time, and let's focus on to the actual thing in hand. And this is, of course, qualifying here in Tokachi International Speedway. We've got Daniel Bogger representing Mochimachi Suisei in car number 41. He is a Chill person. Obviously, it's still pretty much overcast here in Sarabetsu, Hokkaido, which is also unseasonably warm. So let's take a look into Daniel Bogger tackling turns 4 and 5. Slide there, exiting turn 15 to start the lap here. It's looking pretty good here, coming into the main straight. Mark here, put the car up into turn 1. Just break the 450 mark into turn 2. Speed. Time out of race into turn 3. Into turn 4. Downshift with the first gear. And then flat out into turn 5 and into turn 6. Also 4 laps on the race. This is a track that's very technical. And heavy braking section into turn 7. Down into 109 km/h. Turn 8. More of the same as well as on the source of the track. Good exit off of turn 8 will set you up for this pretty straight and into the cupping section, or rather into the short section here. Turn 9, and then at turn 10, then brake into turn 11, down into first gear as well, trying to hook the car as well. Quick blast into turn 12. fall down on the brakes in turn 12, popping up in third gear. Park planet. And then use the curbs here as reference to brake into turn 13, down, shift into maybe first gear, but first gear is okay. And use the access road to use that as a braking reference to turns 14 and 15, down shift into first gear, put carb as much as you can. You might want to use the throttle to get the turn in. And with that being said, that's a lot here in Tokachi. And I think he's done a very good job though. It was already 151.0 for the Suisse entry. Saraido has already completed his lap and he will be set to qualify in P14. Labradors also having set their lap time. Nakamura, I believe, has already set her lap. Well, no, Nakamura has yet to set her lap. And she's already had a good second sector already. Cal Gibbons has declared lap cars, and that's not going to do him any favors. Maverick DCM looking to do pretty decently into the second sector for Omar Polka. Oh, a bit behind there. This is a solid lap. I'm not seeing anyone do any, purples. Nakamura has just set P8. Tsuyo goes into P11. Gibbons have gone into P12. Now seeing Maverick one of our favorites here. Let's see how far he can go. Oh, he goes up into P12. Samiaki goes into P6. And that's our last of our runners, which in a real will go up into P13. Oh my. The trend has continued from the previous Tsuyo Series race. Alright, with qualifying now complete, we will see what it will look like, and I think it will be a similar thing. I think we might just have to wait. I mean, let's just hope that the running order is, well, gonna have to be preserved. And unseasonably, we have our regloss entry, our sole regloss entry, Maserati, not having the time of his life. He's qualified down in P20 around, wait a second, why is he 1.2 seconds behind? Alright, so let's not waste too much of our time. We are gonna get ourselves ready for this Tsuyo Series Tokachi 400. Let's take a look into the starting lineup. Yes, you may want to be louder. Okay. I might want to reduce the output capture for this in this regard. So I hope you guys can hear me. Thank you for your input in the chat. I very much appreciate it. So anyways, introducing the starting lineup here for the Tokachi 400 Tsuyo Series race. Mohamed Kashi will start on pole position alongside Harumi Kiriko in P2 for Himemori Luna. Lexi Bowen starting P3 for Shiragane Noel, with Sakura Miko driver Isakai Tibikola starting in P4. Shaki Reza starts P5 for Poposa Zenene, with Sami Ake starting P6 for Shiragane Fubuki. In car number 7, on a P7, will be Chaka Labradors for Natsuro Matsuri. Danny Barger, our evergreen our Hoshiomi driver in P8. Nakamura, last season's Hololive GT3 champion, will start in P9. Alongside Jake Martinez in car number 10 in P10 for Toa Sama. Saki Sakura, now in the Tsuyo, is looking very hungry to get herself into this Tsuyo Series triumph for Aski, with Maverick Lucian P12 for Omar Polka. Hoshizono Rio starts P13 for Nakari IMA, with Lorenzo Ricci P14 for Hosha Marine, our three favorites, not off to a great start in qualifying. Gibbons starts P15 for Roboco, with Yukara Toka starting 16 for Lamy. Jay Goodwood P17 for Okami-Mio, with Shinozaki Eri in P18 for Sada Pecora. And the last of our drivers will be Kamina Reba for Shishiran and Masaraido for Todoroki Hajime. Alright, we're just gonna do some final preparations before we get the restart. If I just want to I would like to hear your thoughts in the chat on who's going to be winning here in Tokachi. List out your favorites, and I will help present their and on their what do we call proposition? Well, is it proposition or their potential prospects? Yeah, their potential prospects. Yeah, it's not my language, but we're just gonna have to give it a massive whack. Oh yeah. I think yeah, I have heard that my volume might be low, but I think it's mostly just my distance from the mic. But anyways, let's not waste too much of our time. We got our race on our hands. There's no more delays. All right. Don't mind the car damage thing. But anyways, we got Mama Cashew and Hanamikiko making great starts here, and we are off here in Tokachi. And it looks to me that everyone has had a very good start. Hanami Kiriko, watch out for her. Goes down the inside of her fellow Genmei into turn 1. Everyone going pretty much double file. But Mama Cashew ready to challenge. Everyone continues to basically do as they please as we're now coming into the end of the first sector. While Daniel Barger now goes up. Alright, that's Lexi Bowen trying to defend her P3. It will be Hanami Kiriko leading Muhammad Cashew. And then we also have Lexi Bowen in P3, Mikalev P4, Sami Ake in P5, Nenichi in P6. With Matsuri staying in P7. Daniel Barger in Chakareza in P7. Oh, a bit of a slide there from Martinez. Barger stays in P8. With Hachama now ready to make a move down the inside. Alright. Oh, 3 wide action into turn 10. And it's going to be turn 9. And it's pretty ugly there. That 3 wide action that Mavidusiev forced his way into P9. What a great move there from the Zain. But anyways, we are seeing someone mentioning Sakura Miko and Hoshimachi Suisei. Yep. The elite driver that is basically driven by Isekaiji Mikalev. Let Isekaiji Mikalev cook and drive. Don't let Sakura Miko get behind the wheel at any point because she has had a history of just crushing whatever she drives. But hey, Mikalev has had a history of winning in ARO competitions. And by that I mean... yeah. Sakura Miko has won 1 race in all of ARO competitions, and that has went all the way back in 2023, October 2023. That was Mikalev's last first and only win in ARO competition so far, as we're now seeing more side-by-side action. That's Nakamura, now under pressure from what looks like Misaki Sakura. Nakamura still trying to defend her position into turn 4. And it looks to me that she's had a very good exit there. Hanami Kiriko still leading here in Tokachi. Can she win in Hokkaido? We'll have to wait and see, as we might want to see how the tire strategy will go for these entries. Ooh, so much intrigue here in Tokachi International Speedway. You just have to wonder how these drivers are gonna be faring against each other. And right now we are seeing some early visualizations on how this race will end up. Of course, the track is looking very warm, so if I were you, I'd be doing the undercut strategy. Basically, pit early, get out without traffic, bang in fast laps while your opponents get stuck in traffic. And when they pit, you've gained more time than them, and you're able to overtake them through pit strategy. That's how the undercut strategy works. Hopefully that's understandable. And looking at the gaps between the leader, it is looking pretty good there for Kiriko, who's now set the fastest lap of the race. 150.972. So we are gonna be taking a look here into the race field monitor, as everyone has done at least 2 laps. Might see some early pitters like Hoshizonorio and Samiake. Chaka Labradorus! Chaka Labradorus has an issue! What has happened to our Natsuhiro Matsuri driver? And the answer is very simple. Boom! The engine has went for Chaka. There goes him. So he will take no further part in this race. The engine just hand grenaded itself. And Matsuri has to walk out of Tokachi pretty much empty-handed. It was a good try though. You gotta be in it to win it. It's just a shame that the engine had to hand grenade itself. And so as it stands right now, Kiriko, Cashew, Bowen, Mikolev, Ake make up your top 5. And don't worry if you're here to watch drivers representing HoloLive members, that is basically what you're going to see. If you want to see a preview of what Uma Musume Twinkle Championships will look like, the Uma TC will look like, this is what you're going to be getting as well. And right now, we are not seeing any potential overtakes being done. This is what I mean about this track being a difficult place to overtake. You know, there's not a lot of room for drafting and slipstreaming. Instead, there's a lot of room for dirty air that will pull the other cars back. That will keep cars within a distance. As the cones continue to fly off as drivers try to maximize their track limits. Not sure what is currently outside of me. I'm hearing sirens. But anyways, let's focus on to our more important matters here into this race. Hanami Kiriko for Himori Luna is now pulling away from the rest of the pack. The gap's now opening up to potentially 2 seconds. Looking at the gap here, she's setting 150s and 151s, while Cashew has been setting 151s only. Second, Mikolev now in P4, now ready to find his way into the podium places. Right now, so we're just gonna have to keep the race on as usual. The race is a pretty long one. You know, 200 kilometers doesn't seem like a pretty long race, I'll be honest with you. I mean, we got and right now we are seeing, from what I'm seeing here, Daniel Barger now blocking the pack here. Barger considerably slower than Shakif Reza. So slower by 1 second. And looking at his previous lap, finishing lap 4. It still sets at 153. Shakif Reza has now set a 151. That's the front-running pace. Right now, we are just gonna have to pay attention to how the race will unfold. And so obviously, there is a huge amount of payoff for watching races as long as this. Alright, so Kiriko continues to pull away. Continues to set 151s while the mid 151s. While Cashew sets the high 151s. So this will mean, oh, Sakura and Nakamura going side by side. at around turn 9. This is what I mentioned as one of the overtaking hotspots, and Sakura have now made that work. Now up into P10. So doing a good job there for the Pioneers, for Aoski. Oh yeah, then Lorenzo Ricci now going down the inside. Nakamura losing positions as we go, but at the same time, Toka and Rio are also going to be dueling it out for position coming into turn 14 and 15. Toka on the outside in turn 15, but Rio manages to capture the car. We're going for a power slide to keep himself in position, but watch out though, because Gibbons is now going to be in the hunt for that position as well. Nakamura now gonna go at it against Lorenzo Ricci for what looks like P11. Nakamura almost manages to hook that one up very well, but it will be Nakamura. Can she hang on to it? The answer is gonna be no. Ricci with a very good run, maintaining grip and composure into the first two corners to keep himself ahead. Meanwhile, Gibbons has overtaken Toka for P14. And Jay Goodwin, oh, and that's an engine failure! An engine failure for Yukihara Toka. As we saw that, let's take a look. So here's what happened to Yukihara Toka. And yep, that is what happened to Toka. Engine failure of quite the proportion. Nice to see pretty much a good amount of viewers tuning into today's race. And right now we are going to be seeing tons of racing action in ARO competitions, and I think that should be the last of the engine DNFs. It is unfortunate that it happened that way, but and right now I do want to point out though that Shakos has been pretty okay in P6, and you can see here each of these cars, it feels like they're on rails, but at the same time they're looking like pretty loose. They're on the verge of spinning out and sliding outwards. This is in a pursuit for maximum cornering speed. Sometimes you gotta do a lot of compromises to get this thing done. Hanami Kiriko, meanwhile, looking to win her first race since Okayama last year. Lexi Bowen doing a very good job here in P3. Nicolette P4, Ake P5, Shaki Reza now up into P6, and if you want to know why I had to put the underscore, if I don't put the underscore, then it won't, then it will just stop at Reza. So, and there's like two of them, so I don't want to confuse the masses that way. Right, for the uninitiated, Hime-sama is now currently leading in P1. With her fellow Genmate Watame having her car in P2. So, we got members debuting no later than 2020, currently occupying the top 5 spots. And I do notice, though, no way, the entirety of Holux did not qualify for the World Tsuyo. Absolutely crazy. Rustin Carrasio was JP Zako. Kinsai, also JP Zako. Etsky, also JP Zako. Josho Asahi, also JP Zako. Meanwhile, we do have a healthy representation of Gen 5. The entirety of Nebalabo is in the World JP Tsuyo. Toka has now exited this race with an engine failure, but we still have Kamina Riba, who currently runs in P18 for Shishiran. The Polka entry right now, now up into P9, driven by DuCM. Shaka Reza is doing something for Momosu Nene in P6. And also Gen 4 has full representation. We don't have the Koko and Kanata rides anymore, but we still have Watame, Towa, and Luna. And all of them, I believe, are in the top 10. Jake Martinez representing Towa-sama. Watame in P2 for Watame. No, Kashi in P2 for Watame. And of course, Hanami Kiriko for Himamori Luna leading this race. Eri Shinozaki doing a very good job as well. Currently running... Okay, not exactly a great job, but a good job. Shinozaki is in the final point position for Usada Pecora. Lexi Bowen currently in P3. Also doing a good job, if I do say so myself, the normal driver. Lorenzo Ricci as well, they're running in P11. The outlier would be Raymond Rosales, who didn't qualify for the Tsuyo. José Rio is the only Gen 2 representative for Nakari Ayame. Kaczynski and Azuri representing Choco and Subaru did not make it. For gamers, Sami Ake is here, and Lexi Bowen has just made the pass there on Muhammad Cashew for P2. And this time it will be Bowen who will be trying to challenge Hanami Kiriko for the top spot. Meanwhile, Nakamura has been overtaken by Rio. Her race pace just not existing, and now she's dropping down like a stone. Hearts dropping, if I do say so myself. Kiriko continues to trailblaze the rest of the field. Cashew now drops down like a stone as well. Sakaji Mikola ready to get that P3. Oh yeah, gamers. And Sakura is about to get overtaken by Lorenzo Ricci. Oh, I almost saw Ricci going into Sakura there, but he did manage to hook the car up very well, and that's a great move for him to get up into P10, although it is probably right to call it risky. And you can see here Bowen absolutely doing her best of her efforts to get Hanami Kiriko up into P1, doing a very good job there herself, if I do say so myself. Oh, we have problems. It's Muhammad Cashew who is now stranded. And we'll have to see what happened here. Looking into his onboard first. That's very ugly there. It's a unforced error from Cashew. And here we see here once again on the replay, Muhammad Cashew for Tsunamaki Watami. Oh, that was a pretty hefty lockup here, going into the grass and potentially stalling the car. He might be back into this race if he can get this car restarted. It is gonna be a massive gut punch for the Watamites. Cashew now looking to be out of this race if he doesn't get that car back. Meanwhile, Lorenzo Ricci against Misaki Sakura, they're gonna try to go at it between each other. Cashew is still stationary and he's confirmed to be out. He's out. So the race has now taken yet another casualty, and we're not even a quarter of the way into this race. Well, we are seeing Nakamura against Sakura. This is once again we're seeing the Hachama entry not having a great race at the moment. Continue to get swamped by multiple other drivers here. Sakura absolutely gonna try to fancy her chances to get herself into a good position, and that was a good try there from Sakura, but that's gonna open the door for Gibbons to almost go around the outside to take that position back. The Roboco entry. You can tell how dedicated Gibbons is. As long as it's got 4 wheels, a steering wheel, and a good braking system, and a good monocog, and there's an engine failure for, as we say that, for Callum Gibbons. Oh my god. I'm so sorry, Gibbo. I am so sorry. This wasn't a positive comment, but he has an engine failure and... No! I'm so sorry. I say that. Commentator's curse. Unbelievable. I'm so sorry, Gimbo. But yeah, Cal Gibbons becomes our 4th DNF as I say that. No! Alright, we're about to complete 10 laps here in Tokachi. It is still pretty much a tight contest. Australia is his next best hope. Lexi Bowen will try to challenge Kiriko for P1. And this has been a far more fervent contest than anticipated. Now that we're seeing the lead be reduced to less than a second. Lexi Bowen knows her stride. And of course, being out of ARO competition for as long as she did. But that really didn't matter because Bowen ends up winning. Has basically won 6 races for Shirogane Noel. 2 in HoloLive GT3. 1, 2, 3 in HoloProto. And 1 in Formula HoloLive. So we are seeing a pretty much seasoned veteran when it comes to running these cars. I think Lexi B, knowing that she is a front-engine merchant, is doing pretty well with rear-end cars. Just need to have that setup changed to better match the handling of the front-engine cars. Which would mean that Lexi Bowen would like cars that have more weight at the front instead of at the back. And right now, this is going to be a good contest. This is going to be a good contest. Lexi Bowen now coming into Harumi Kiriko's gap. Rear end. Sakura still in P12, not looking very hot here at the moment. We might be seeing potential pit stops there, but we are not going to be expecting it from Toka, Gibbons, or Lavadoras. They're all out of this race. There's still 16 cars, and we're still seeing more side-by-side action as we speak. Here is Hoshizuna Rio. Rio now going down the inside of Ricci. And right now we are seeing the favorites go back up into the top part of mid-pack. And by that, I mean... I'm just going to double check here. Rio doing a very good job. Oh, the car's going off wide. That's Cal Gibbons. Or rather, that's Martinez. And it's going to block the way for both Rio and Ricci. Coming into the end of this first sector, and it's going to be pretty tight here between the two. They're still going side by side, coming into the very tight turn. Yeah, coming to the exit at turn 8 is looking very close there, but it's now pretty much included as you saw the codes being flung over. Rio now is in P9. Meanwhile, Hanami Kiriko is doing a pretty good job here, maintaining her spot in the race lead, but for how much longer? Because Lexi Bowen is absolutely hunting down her gap. Hunting down as we speak. Kiriko's doing a very good job just hanging on to the lead right now. If it's horse racing, then front runner is being challenged by a pace chaser, if you will. Hoshizuna Rio now moves up into P8. Martinez having moved out in some way. Goes up as an action. That's Nakamura against Lorenzo Ricci. And this time we're seeing Nakamura try to get ahead, and ultimately that she might be able to 2. Richie has a very good exit off of turn 1, and now it's going to be Richie who goes ahead. Meanwhile, Lexi Bowen gets very close to Kiriko. It's just a matter of time there until Bowen gets to make an overtake onto Kiriko. Her race is not going to plan. Martinez drops down to P10. Don't mind me, I'm just enjoying my bit of ramen, so, anyways, what was I? Oh, yeah. Hanami Kiriko currently still leads this race here in Tokachi in this Tsuyo Series Tokachi 400. A win here. Absolutely do the Luna a lot of favors. Remember, Luna has, of course, won in all 3 competitions. From between 2022 and 2023, it was Mo Shadow and Reza that won for Himamori Luna in those series. And then last year, Kiriko won in HoloProto, then called HoloType, as Shinozaki now drops down into P14. Maserati drops down to P16. But Maserati now has a very good run there off of turn 13 to try to get that position back. Unfortunately, it's just too far out. Missionaria becomes the first driver to come into the pits. Can't wait to see how it goes there. As nearby competitors will be Nakamura, Martinez, Ricci. Martinez goes around the outside to defend, and that's oh, Martinez goes off the track. Goes off the track, but I don't think he has. I don't think he has hit the wall as what some of the other drivers did, but it's a very. I think Martinez have locked up into turn 1, and that's gonna lose him a lot of time and positions. And oh, that's gonna be a big issue there. Martinez is clearly struggling with the car. And now we're going to be seeing Shinozaki trying to potentially make a move here, but Dunsada Pecora entry could not see an opening here. You see here, Martinez is absolutely struggling with the car. It's going to be a matter of time before he locks up again. Now dropping down into P. I can't tell. Maintains her lead against Lexi Bowen. I think Martinez has managed to get his composure back into shape. But he has gone off slightly wide, and it's a massive slam for Martinez, and I think he just about dodged hitting the wall and gets himself back on track. That was very ugly there for Martinez. Fortunately, he's able to get himself back on, but you can see here he's still struggling with the grip of the car. That's a huge amount of foreign objects on the tires. UCM also comes in for his pit stop. And his closest rival will be Riba, but we will have to check once again as to what happened there to Martinez, who started P10. Oh, just went on almost. Okay, he did hit the wall, but I'm not sure if this is a huge amount of damage, but that was very ugly. 15 laps, or rather 14 laps already complete here, and we are now going to see some. Oh, that's Nakamura this time, having issues with her car, trying to get herself back into shape. Martinez is currently last amongst the drivers who have yet to pit. Rio has managed to pass DuCM. So the undercut strategy is going to be the strategy to go for. Lexi Bowen and gonna be Kiriko. It is gonna be Kiriko who will be pitting later in this race, but she will have tire advantage, as we also saw at the late stages of the Zako series race, where despite pitting very late, Antarao and Kinsai managed to get themselves back a few positions, but it's far cry from where they were earlier in that race, where they were racing like 1, 2, 3. So we're still doing pretty okay right now. 15 laps complete. Kiriko has now managed to get a 1 second gap over to Bowen. And Mikolev in P3 just doing a very good job as well. Shaki Reza in P5. So there is a potential battle to be had. With most likely... Oh, Samiaki goes off wide! Samiaki goes off wide, and that's almost gonna allow Shaki Reza to make the pass. Close but no cigar, but it will be a pretty much tight affair between these two. Yuval Nakamura also has gone off the track. That will allow Shinozaki a spot into P10. Oh, a good amount of driver error this time. Still in P2, continuing her charge as per usual, and yeah. As you can see here, Lexi Bowen continues to pile on the pressure to Kiriko, who has done a very good job here to stay in the race lead. Obviously, after starting P2, the pole sitter having already been out of this race after he has made a mistake. Oh, that is Alexi. Who's that? Going off there. That's Samiaki having issues with the car. He's gone off wide, and that's going to allow Shaki Freza to get himself up. And it looks to me that Samiaki might actually just go on to the pits here as a result. So, alright, so Ake now getting his car service in the pit lane of Tokachi Speedway. Tire wear absolutely not at the advantage of these entries. Well, Kiriko, we're seeing Kiriko make some mistakes as well. She's also starting to struggle. But we are gonna see here if Bowen and Kiriko will try to pit sometime in this race. We're expecting Kiriko. Oh, they're getting very close. Kiriko might go for 3 more laps here before she makes her pit stop. Samiaki has exited ahead of Hoshizuna Rio. Or rather, not really. Hoshizuna Rio has actually made use of that undercut strategy to get up into P12. But these cars are much easier to overtake than you think. So we might see some so you might actually see some overtaking action done. Right now it is not forthcoming yet. Lexi Bowen doing a pretty good job here, running in P2, still looking for an avenue of overtaking, and Shaki Reza now goes in for his pit stop. More pit stop activities coming. This time it's going to be in the hands of Shaki Reza. Closest opponents will indeed have to be either Hoshizuna Rio or Samiake. But I think it will be Samiake, who's now overtaken by Rio. Shaki Reza is still stationary. Finally gets out there, but Rio is already in the main straight. Shaki Reza, meanwhile, will have tire advantage. So we'll have to wait and see how this goes. As Rio now clears Shaki Reza. Samuaki also now clears Shaki Reza. And potentially Maverick do CM as well. Rounding out and looks like DCM has passed Shaki Reza. And of course, for Shaki, it will be no biggie. He has pressure tires and the driver is in front of him up until Rio. So, keep going as usual and enjoy the race. Got Lexi Bowen now coming in for her pit stop. As what we saw earlier, we are expecting to see the undercutters take track position and so Kiriko will be in the race lead for quite some time, but again, as she will be pitting way later in this race, we are expecting Kiriko to stay competitive right at the end. So Bowen will take third place at the front. Man. So Bowen has just about to get out though, while Martinez, Rio, so Bowen will have no issues with traffic whatsoever. That is if Martinez and Rio don't get into Bowen anytime soon. And if she can get the tires warmed up while staying ahead of her opponents, this will be great news there for Bowen, and she will have clear air in front of her. Oh, and there's a car going off! That's Jake Martinez! Overcooking the corner like crazy! And there's almost contact! There is contact! Oh, again, Sagaji Mikalev got hit there! Got collected by Martinez. That was an unsafe rejoin. No DNF yet, but it was a collision. But it's not a collision that forces a car off the track and being spun around. So it will be no penalty just yet for now. But my goodness, that was pretty messy, right? So Kiriko, we really need to think about making a pit stop sometime soon. But again, remember that there's a huge amount of dynamics at play here in this race. Coming into the halfway stage of this Tsuyo Series Tokachi 400, it's been an entertaining affair of racing overtakes, and the pit strategy here. Alexi Bowen has managed to clear Shinozaki, who has now gone off the track as well, and now will allow Hoshizuna Rio to now go up into P7, almost there. But Shinozaki manages to hang on for now. We are seeing more racing action. Shakureza is about to get into his Gen teammate. And they're about to go side by side, but DCM manages to hold on. Samuaki, meanwhile, going down into the inside of Rio, but manages to stay ahead after that move there. Now coming to turn 9, Ake now has a great run. But will Rio think of a move down the inside? More cones flying. Samiaki has to give space there as a preemptive measure that will allow Rio to make the move down the inside at turn 9 into turns 10 and 11. It will be Rio who gets back to position. Shinozaki stays in P7. And Bowen has more space to work with. And this time, Mikolev makes the pass on to Shakif Reza. And Duciem going slightly off wide. There's a bit of a issue there. That's Sami Ake bunching up the pack, going off wide. Oh, that's Shinozaki. Shinozaki not having the race that he or she have desired. And that's another issue of it. The car going on. That's going to allow Ake to go out. And I think it's going to be Shinozaki now coming into the pits. Man, that was very interesting moment there from Ake, as we're now seeing Martinez also coming in for his pit stop. Varga now goes into the pits, and we'll see what happened to Kiriko. Oh my. As we saw all of this happen, so here's what happened. So Kiriko's made a mistake somewhere. And that has opened the door for Barger to make a move here. And coming into the main straight. And right now Kiriko keeps herself steady. But here's the issue here. Going off wide in here has now allowed Barger to take the race lead. Barger last won at Le Mans. Last year in one of the HoloProto World races, and that will now put the Hoshiomi now in the lead of this race. Halfway through to this Tokachi 400 Tsuyo Series race, and it's still pretty much a tight and entertaining contest. Martinez has now gone on into the pits for what looks like another pit stop, or rather they have just gone out. So what are the awesome drivers going a lap down? Way lower than it should be, as Kiriko makes another mistake that will allow Rollins reaching now up into P2. So Leslie Bowen now at a more realistic position to win. And as you can see here, Barger still maintains a spot in P1. Goodwin now goes into the pit stall. And here we see Mikolev now getting very close there to Duciem. But not too close enough, not close enough here. Meanwhile, we are seeing Sakura though now up into P4. But she has yet to make a pit stop, and the driver directly behind her is Lexi Bowen, who is currently have become the overwhelming favorite to win here in Tokachi. You know, it's very funny. I'm sure Granol is based in Oita, virtual Oita, which is in Kyushu. It's in the Kyushu part of Japan. And Tokachi is as far as you can get from Honshu. Sorry, from as far as you can get from Kyushu. And right now, speaking of Hokkaido natives, I believe what I could tell here, we do have one Hololive member who has explicitly said that she is from, talk about it, that she's based in Hokkaido and all that stuff, and is Todoroki Hajime. Masaraido currently is in P12 and is doing a pretty good job here in Hajime's fall home race. Anyways, more pit stops coming in. Lorenzo Ricci this time. For those who have pitted later in this race, they will have the ability of better tire life. So we are just gonna have to pay attention to the developments that we will be seeing here. Meanwhile, Barger now has a massive 14-second lead and is now become the shoehorn favorite to win here in Tokachi. Barger's still doing a very good job here. Obviously racing for him for Hoshimachi Suisei since 2023. And you can see here he's absolutely putting his car to work in these overcast skies of Sarabetsu. And a bit of a slide as he continues to pull away from the rest of the pack. Kiriko's had so many mistake-ridden laps here as she's been setting 159s, 200s, 201s, and oh, that's a very ugly there for Kiriko. Almost spins the car out, and that's a bit messy there from Kiriko. Now she finally goes into the pit stall to finally rectify this issue. Might be too little too late here as we now see two more cars having yet to make a pit stop. Sakura doing oh, that's her going off the track, and that's gonna be very ugly there, the rejoin, but manages to get that car back into the right spot here. Sakura overcooking turn 1, and that is going to give her a massive issue. Now it's going to be a near shoehorn there for the struggling Noel driver to get it done. As for the driver that used to run in P2 and in the race lead for much of this race is now going to spend the remainder of this race at the back of the field. Absolute shame here for the Lunite. Has overtaken the most Sunene driver. Shaki Reza has gained a position from Ducien's mistake. Which also means though that Hoshizuna Ryo is now up into P3 nearly on merit. I don't know if Ryo has ever made a pit stop, and I think this might actually be the case. Ryo has actually made a pit. Oh my! Ryo has actually made a pit stop. My goodness, we're actually seeing a favorite perform. Crazy. But anyway, we are just gonna have to proceed as usual. Yes, konnichiwa, Masaraido-san. Masaka, uchi no member ga, uchi no Nihon Shushin no member ga, kono haishin no miru nante, sugoi desu ne. Apologies if I have to speak a bit of Japanese because we do have, Masaraido, we have Masaraido, who's currently running in P11. そう。現在の強しトカチ 400km レースに、トロロキはじめ代表のマサライドさんは現在11位にいて、なんか、12位に上がってくる可能性は実際、難しいと思いますが、なんかトップ10に入るには、このドライバーにオーバーテイクしなくてはいけないことです。We got a driver coming into the pit stop. Just apologize if I have to switch back to English from Japanese. We have Daniel Barger, our last of the drivers who have yet to make a pit stop, finally making a pit stop. So we now have Lexi Bowen for Shirogane Noel now coming into the pits as well. Sorry, Lexi Bowen now leading this race. Shirogane Noel 代表の Lexi Bowen は現在先頭にいます。6.7 秒の後ろにあやめ代表の星園リオさんは2位となります。そしてアスキ代表の三崎さくらさんは3位です。本当に驚きましたね。マサライドさんはチャットにいるなんて正直にまさかマサライドさんまでこのチャットにいるなんかもう一度言います。すごいですね。But anyways, let's not dilly-dally too much into the Japanese proceedings, even though we are racing in Japan, in a Japanese-based HoloProto Japan. Again, I would like to point out, I would love to have Japanese commentary in this stream if I can find someone who could do Japanese commentary. Obviously, my Japanese isn't good enough, and I've been struggling to find time to study Japanese due to my recent IRL commitments. 日本語を話せる皆さんへちょっとピットインする三崎さくらさん、もし日本語の解説者が見つけたら日本語で配信します。でも現在の場合にはまだ見つけませんね。日本語の解説者ですから英語で解説しなくてはいけません。That was honestly very confused. That was honestly a very decent effort in Japanese. I didn't have to speak Japanese myself. If there's indeed someone who could speak Japanese, I would love for this series to be commentated in Japanese, because I know there are Japanese people who are watching this stream. I know there are Japanese people who want to tune into ARO competitions, watching whole life racing to support their Oshis, but at the end of the day, I still cannot find anyone who could speak Japanese or even a Japanese native who could even do a slight bit of natural commentary. Hi. Just gonna address one of the elephants in the room as the Shirogane Noels is Lexi Bowen still continue to lead this race. We got Mikalev getting under pressure, and now yep, I'm gonna address Masaraido later, but of course, I do want to point out though that Masaraido is doing very well. He's currently in P7. 現在7位にいるマサライドさん。マサライドさんは12位に上がってきて、すごいですね。タイヤはまだ若くて、まだ使いやすくて、順位に上がって他の選手より早いなので7位にいます。And then we got Shakir Reza now, who's now up into P3. Masaraido now up in P7 due to his fresher tires. And now we see Lorenzo Ricci now going down the inside of Sami Ake for Shirakawa Fubuki, who's now up into P. He was now up into P4 then, Sami Ake. And now we are seeing an earnest challenger in Hoshizuna Rio now going into P2. Will we see lap cars? The answer is going to be no. Because Misaki Sakura is right here in turn 9. I am surprised. Yes, Masaraido is still hanging around in the server. Alright, so we do have Kamine Riba for Shishiran now trying to fight off against another Apex Predator of Okami Mio. This is Jay Goodwin, who's now up into P9. It's crazy though. Nakiri Ayame now currently up into P2, doing a very good job there at the front. Shuriken Newell, meanwhile, already Lexi Bowen, meanwhile, doing a good job here running at the top. Shakir Reza, meanwhile, doing a very good job in P3. So a bit of a refresher. We now have 16 cars remaining. One driver will be out of the points, being out of positions. So Hoshizuna Rio for Nakiri Ayame now up into P2. Lexi Bowen in the lead right now. Masaraido doing a very good job here. He's only set 153s, 154s. Mikalev currently actually very slower. Masaraido-san wa hokano mae no hokano senshu yori hayai kara 順位に上がってくる可能性は高くなりますよね。Alright, so now we are looking into Masaraido, who's potentially able to get up into P6 and maybe P5. His tire is very much fresh in the memory, so we will have to wait and see how it goes. For Raido, Mr. Masaraido, to get up more positions. Is the top 5 possible? 5位は可能ですか？じゃあ、待ってみましょう。We'll have to wait and see if Masaraido can get his way up into P5. He now has to face off pressure from Daniel Barg, who also has one of those fresher tires, being one of the latest drivers to make a pit stop. Lexi Bowen is setting 153s and 154s, and Masaraido might have race-winning pace, but does he have enough time? 先頭にいるレクシー・ボーンは1分 53、4秒のラップタイム設定してるんですが、マサライドさんは1分53秒のラップタイムを設定してます。このままではいけば、マサイドさんは間もなくミクレフやアケ選手をオーバーテイクする可能性がありますが、ボーエン選手について間に合わないと思います。Yeah, I would argue that Masaraido would not be able to make his way past Lexi Bowen. We will have to wait and see how it goes. Alright, so P2, so P7 will be Masaraido. By the way, もう一つのことを言います。Tsuyoシリーズの登録者の中で唯一の唯一のデバイス、さらにリグロスのメンバーの一つは轟はじめ代表のマサライドさんです。悔しい予選の後、ちょっとピックインしてしまいましたね。マサライドさんは2回のピットインするそうで、なんかトップ5は不可能となってしまいましたね。So anyways, Masaraido will now be down into P16. He will now be racing for consolation. At this point, a point finish will be a pretty much realistic target because we are seeing a lot of drivers still making mistakes. If he can get maybe 12 or 11, that would be a great achievement, but we'll have to wait and see. 1回以上にピットインするなのは残念ですが仕方ないと思って前に進むしかないと思いますよね。マサライドさんに言います。How do I? But anyways, what's the current situation here? Shaka Reza for Nene now into P3, doing a very good job here at the moment in today's Tsuyo Series race. And we're now seeing Shinozaki making a mistake. The Usada Pecora driver now having bits of issues. Dusiem in P14, Martinez in P15, Masaraido now in P16. So right now, Masaraido is currently our last of the runners so far. And right now, I believe his gap to Martinez will be at 10 seconds. But we'll see how he does his lap, finishing his lap 32. It's a 1:59.608, but that's mostly because just trying to get the tires warmed up. Just a bit of a comparison. Duciem is setting 56s and 59s. Martinez is trying to set only 56s. Same goes for Shinozaki. Sakura is sitting in a pretty decent position, so I think just maybe Masaraido can get P13 right at the end. But we will have to wait and see how it goes. Lexi Bowen's still in P1, doing a very good job here for the Shirogane Knights. Shaka Reza in P2, Rio in P2. Richie in P4, Sami Ake in P5. Well, Daniel Barger now trying to get into Sami Ake here for a top 5. Going currently in P8 now, ready to chase. It's a very solid run for the Okami Mio entry. Now running in the P... Oh, we now have Shakib Reza and Lorenzo Ricci now going down the inside. Ricci is trying to stick around the outside to get that P3, but Shakib Reza is not going to leave this one behind. But I think it's going to be Lorenzo Ricci up into P3. 2 of our 3 favorites now currently in the podium positions. Nakiri Ayame, who's topped the World Split A and has been a runner-up in JP Split B this season of HoloProto, is now currently in the precipice of finishing P2. No one has been able to challenge Lexi Bowen for Shirogane Noel, and I'll tell you what, right now, this is a very good contest. Alright, so what is next for our entries here? First of all, thank you for your viewership so far, as we're now coming into the conclusion of the races here in... looking into... Oh, there's a bit of a mistake there from Ricci that's going to allow Shakib Reza to get back onto things. And you can see here how competitive the World Tsuyo field is. In terms of gaps between the leaders, Masaraido is actually now catching up to... Oh, Masaraido さんは15位にいるマルティネス選手の順位に追い込んでいますよね。Masaraido さん。Meanwhile, we got Hoshizano Rio making a mistake. Mrs. してしまった。星野リオさん。どうしたんですか？なんか、ワイド。ここに行ってしまったんです。Meanwhile, Jake Goodwin is going to go side by side potentially with... Hanami Kiriko has still set fastest laps of this race, but now has managed to get herself back into a rhythm. From running in P14, is now up into P9. Meanwhile, Masaraido is doing his best to catch up. Martinez has been setting 56s. Duciem's been setting 56s. Same goes with Shinozaki. And Sakura maybe as well. So we will have to see if things can go right there for Masaraido, who's currently doing his best to get himself back into position to make overtakes. Alright, so we're just gonna have to proceed as usual. The gaps to the leader now dropping down to 8 seconds. Lexi Bowen still maintaining a spot at the front. Oh, we are seeing Lucia making a mistake. CM has made a mistake, and that's gonna cause a bit of a traffic jam here. But oh my goodness, what's happened here? It should have been Masaraido's P15, and that's gonna lose him a lot of time compared to Martinez. And I think with the lack of time that he's had, I think it might just only be a P15 for Masaraido. Masaraido's about to make the pass. Each point を獲得しておくマサライドさんは現在15位にいます。Meanwhile, Samiaki now in P5, ready to defend against Daniel Barger, Hoshimachi Suisei. At the same time, Mikolev against Goodwin. Nothing has come out of it so far. And the gaps between Lexi Bowen and Lorenzo Ricci have closed down dramatically. The gaps now drop down to 6.6 seconds. This might be a finish for the ages for two of HoloLive's Gen 3 members. Yes, I know Shinozaki is currently in P13, and Rim Rosales was basically in the Zako series. But right now, Noel is starting. Now we're seeing Bowen for Shiragai. Noel starting to crack under pressure, with Lorenzo Ricci ready to basically tear down Bowen's armor. And the gaps continue to shrink. 5 seconds now separate between the two Gen 3 members. 5 seconds now separate between two incredibly talented drivers. Lexi Bowen having 6 wins. Ricci having 8. 14 wins separated. 14 wins between them. We're now coming into 4 laps to go here in this Tsuyo series Tokachi 400. And we just wonder if this is gonna go well for Lorenzo Ricci or Lexi Bowen. This is a battle amongst the titans here. Nenichi, meanwhile, in P3, continuing to make her charge, make her presence felt as well. It will be one Gen 5 representative in the top, in the podium places. And Nakamura has been overtaken by Sakura, who's now up into P11. And we now have Samiaki making mistakes as well, now being overtaken by Daniel Barger in P5. The gap between Hoshimarin and Shirogane Noel, the drivers, now dropping down to 2.7 seconds. We might see them meet each other at the penultimate lap of this race. We might be seeing a last lap battle. 最後週のバトルは可能になってきます。団長と船長のとの戦いは近くなってきます。I hope the Japanese people will resonate with me as much as I will be trying to speak their language. And now the gaps drop down. 船長と団長の差が小さくなってきて、現在の差は1秒 1.8 秒となります。なんか次の争いは激しくなってくると思います。And anyways, the gaps have now continued to close down between the Dancho and the Sencho. The gaps now dropping down between each of these drivers. The gaps drop down to 1.2 seconds. It's Sencho versus Dancho. And there's more mistakes there from Jake Martinez, and that's gonna give Masaraido P14. 14位にいるマサライドさんは マサラヨさんは継続のジェイク・マルティネスのミスのおかげで1位登ってきました。And now, here's the battle we've all been waiting for. Lorenzo Ricci has now caught up onto Shiragan and Noel. It's now a battle between the titans of ARO competitions. Lorenzo Ricci with 8 wins. Hasho no Lorenzo Ricci 選手対RockshowのLexi Bowen 選手は39週にこの2人は激しいバトルに戦争してきます。あとはどうなるでしょうか。We will see how this battle will end up between these two. We'll probably have to stop commentating in Japanese as we start the final lap. Apologies to all of our Japanese viewers if we have to stop commentating in Japanese. 最後週に日本語で解説してやめるならすみません。英語話せるもののためだから最後週の始まりから英語で解説してきます。Here comes Lorenzo Ricci now going down the inside of Lexi Bowen. Bowen has to give the space to Ricci. They're now going down the inside. And what a move there from the Sencho representative. Lorenzo Ricci now takes the lead with 2 laps to go. マリンの一味の代表のロレンゾ・リッチ選手は39週に先頭してきたロレンゾ・リッチ選手はついに先頭。And right now, we will have to see if Lorenzo Ricci can hang on. Oh, of course he will hang on. He's got the tire advantage. He's made it count. And now, with 1 more lap to start, it will be win number 9 potentially for Lorenzo Ricci. It's a great move there for him. And I think we will see how it goes. Lorenzo Ricci continues to keep on getting things to work. You see here both strategies being into play, and obviously both strategies have worked for Lexi Bowen. The strategy to pit early and to go for the undercut strategy did work. But the problem is the tires have worn off so quickly that it actually favored the overcutters, the ones who pitted later in this race, and that job has gone to Lorenzo Ricci. And Samak has gone off at the final lap, and he will be a retirement, and that will mean more positions gained for all drivers at the back. Meanwhile, for Lorenzo Ricci, it doesn't really matter. He just needs to bring that car home. Looks like the Ichimi pirate ship is about to set sail with all the booty in hand, with all the loot in hand. Lorenzo Ricci will get it done here in Tokachi Speedway. Lorenzo Ricci now coming into the final 2 corners. He didn't have the most perfect race, but he came, he saw, and he conquered when it mattered most. And now with loot in his hand and with pride in his name, Lorenzo Ricci will bring home win number 9 in ARO competition for Hosha Marine. Lorenzo Ricci wins the Tsuyo Series Tokachi 400. so close, but no cigar for Lexi Bowen, who now has to settle for P2. Shakif Reza goes up into P3. Daniel Barger P4. Hoshizono Rio P5. Mikolev in P6. With the Himori Luna driver, who was supposed to be in control for much of the early parts of this race, is now going to end up in P7. Goodwin P8. Kamen Riba makes a great comeback from the back of the field in P9. And Misaki Sakura brings home a solid top 10 finish. And oh my goodness, that looks like a mistake there from Daniel Goyena. Masaraido's now up into P12. Masaraido's now up into P12. Nakamura seals P11. And it will be Masaraido capitalizing the mistakes of everyone to get a good comeback drive to get up into P12. Great stuff from Masaraido. Shinozaki will have to settle for P13. Duciem will have to settle with P14. Jake Martinez will be set to score points as well. That final lap retirement from Sami Ake will cost him all, basically, massive amounts of points altogether, and that's going to be a massive shame for the Sukombu, which is a massive shame. Alright, so let's take a look into the standings here, as we are now just going to Alright, so now looking into the results here, Lorenzo Ricci will now be the top dog here in the Tsuyo series. Remember that in every end of the first race, every time we finish the first race of the season, the results of the top 15 will dictate the top 15 of the standings. So this will be what it will look like. So Lorenzo Ricci, congratulations to him for taking the checkered flag. And I cannot believe I'm gonna have to make this change live. And then in P2 it will be Lexi Bowen for Shogari Noah. And Shaki Reza P3 for Nenechi, and also a great drive for him. Daniel Barger will finish P4 for Hoshimachi Suisei. P5 will have to go to Hoshizono Ryo for Nakiri Ayame. Sagaji Mikolev takes P6 with Hanami Kiriko recovering very well to finish P7. Jay Goodwin in P8 for Okami Mio. P9 going to Kaminari Riba for Shishiron, with P10 of course going to Misaki Sakura for Aski. Nakamura finishes P11 for Hachama, with P12 going to Masaraido. P13 goes to Shinozaki. Eri Shinozaki in P13. Whoever Duciem finishes P14. And Jake Martinez just about manages to remain inside the points. Sami Ake, with his last lap retirement, will mean he will be out of the points altogether, which is a massive shame. Then you got Callum Gibbons, Mama Cashew, Yuka Toka, and Chaka Labradoris. All except Cashew had engine problems, with Cashew having retired from pole position with him going off the track and not being able to restart the car. Alright, so we're gonna move straight into the championship standings here, because we're not gonna waste too much time. So this is what the standings have now looked like, and it will be Lorenzo Ricci who will be taking the top spot here in Tokachi International Speedway. Again, great stuff there from our Hosho Marine driver, putting the effort when it mattered the most, and with a penultimate lap overtake. So once again, commendable effort from the driver representing the Sencho Hosho Marine to now be at the top of the standings. Remember, as I mentioned earlier, the the top 15 in the first race of the season will be the top 15 in the standings, which now leaves Casio Labradores, Sami Ake, Yukihara Toka, and Callum Gibbons without points coming into 3 more races in the season. So we'll now have to wait and see how it goes for the penultimate rate for the next races coming up. So you can take your time to pause this stream to check onto what the standings will look like, but this is what the standings will currently look like as of the end of this round. So yeah, that being said, thank you all for tuning in for today's race. I hope you all enjoyed the race despite having the race being delayed by 5 hours. Apologies for that. And with that being said, thank you everyone for tuning in. We hope to see you tomorrow for the finale. Well, next weekend for the finale of HoloLive GT3. So with that being said, my name is Momashita Reza, and you've been watching the Tokachi 400 weekend, with today's race being the Tokachi the CO series Tokachi 400. See you next weekend for the HoloLive GT3 finale. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you next weekend. For real this time, actually. So yeah, see you next weekend.